Good morning, everyone. I don't think this is on.
Use the other one.
Good morning. We had a bit of technical difficulties for those of you who are listening to us online. I'm sorry for the delay. Barbara sang a wonderful song. As usual, her voice is beautiful, and it's one of the advantages when we don't get to have a choir. Positive Spin, we get to hear Barbara more, and we love that. So, hello everyone. Please silence your cell phones if you haven't done that already. I'll say the daily word. The daily word today is guidance. Divine guidance clears and lights my way. I am a divinely guided, moment by moment, breath by breath, with certainty and assurance. I go forth to do what is mine to do, trusting all things are working for the good. Even during most trying times, through my faith, I am assured all is well, regardless of appearances, just as the sun shines after a storm. In times of uncertainty, I turn within prayer and enter the silence where I can better discern the stillness, small voice within me. Then I relax and pay attention to my intuition. I listen deeply to my soul's calling. I am open and receptive to many ways my guidance manifests. Knowing and claiming my oneness with God, I dare to reach for my dreams with unshakable faith. I go forth expecting to receive clear guidance and direction from the Christ within me. Psalm 32:8. I will instruct you and teach you the way you should go. Again, the daily word is guidance. Divine guidance clears and lights my way. In reflecting about divine guidance, I have to say, even though I've come to Unity for quite some time now, I tend to reflect on guidance when I feel like things are difficult for me. And I think one of the things that would be good for me and maybe for others to do is reflect on guidance even when things feel like they're going great. Because I think, the Christ is within all of us. And to have that higher wisdom always helps us. So now I'd like to say our mission statement. It will be up on the screen. Our mission statement is we are a loving, nurturing community dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living, to awaken oneness with God within us all. So this time of year, it's wonderful to be thinking about our mission statement. I think it's easier this time of year to keep in mind how we can help others and share with others that need support, that need a person in their life so that they're not lonely. I think this time of year for some people can be a very lonely time. So to keep in mind that even just calling somebody and saying hi or inviting somebody over to your house for a meal really can help people feel supported. And during a time where some people may not have family, it's helpful to be thinking about that during this Thanksgiving and Christmas season. So, as we mentioned a few weeks ago, we will be doing mission statements this year coming up. It will not only be the one mission statement, we're going to decide what topics that we're going to be focusing on after we get a consensus about this, a theme we'll have. The themes that we're going to pick from are prosperity, the Bible, or the Fillmores. So when we have our annual meeting, people will be able to vote on that and choose. Our annual meeting is December 3rd, following the service. We may have pizza during that time, so that, yes, I know. Oh, that's why. I was wondering why we keep saying we may. We'll figure out a way to have pizza. We'll figure out a way. So, and just to mention some of the things that we have going on here regularly, Charlie Richard has a meditation on the first Monday of the month at 7 p.m. online only. And we have a game night on the third Friday of each month at 6:30. We have a poetry meeting, and we will likely have music at some time again, but that's not set up yet. If you're interested in knowing all the different times we have things going on, you can look at our meetup page or on our website. If you want to reflect on any talks that Tom has done, you can look on YouTube or on Facebook. They are archived there. And if you have any questions about things that we talk about here, feel free to email Tom, or anyone on the board can also answer questions if you like. We have a donate button, as I'm sure everybody knows about the donate button that we have, Tidely. So if you're interested in donating, you can go on our website and find the Tidely button, or if you'd prefer to mail us a check, you can mail a check at Unity of the Seacoast, McConnell Center, Suite 246, 61 Locust Street, Dover, New Hampshire, 03820. Just want to mention, just so people have a sense of some things that happen here as a way of supporting each other and being with each other as a group and connected. I invited people at my house last evening for Friendsgiving, and I'm mentioning it also because I really want people to see. I think I visibly show how I feel often by the look on my face. And I really want people to understand how grateful I am for this group of people that's here. It's wonderful. Last night we had about, I think, 9 people at my home, and people were really, really kind in helping me getting the Thanksgiving food together, and we had just a nice connected time. So if there's anybody out there listening and there's any way that you can call us and connect with us, even if you can't come to service, this is really a group of people that you can do that with. So feel free to connect with us. Now, let's see. Okay. Next Saturday from 8 to 11, we're going to have the Unity Basics class. Is that correct? Correct time? Okay. So that's important to know for both people who are here and also for people who are listening. Unity Basics is really helpful to go to that class. It lets you know, as it's the name, it lets you know the basics of unity, how Myrtle and Charles started unity, and the basic principles and some other things that I think are really helpful to know. I didn't go to the Unity Basics class till way after I started coming here, and it was really helpful to go to it. So anybody who could come, we'd love to see you there. Yes, it is. I'm sorry, it's a requirement also to be on the board. So if you're interested at all at being on the board, please come to the Unity Basics class. Next week, Tom will begin the Christmas season with a service on the Christmas spirit. Looking forward to that. Now I'd like to start a tradition with you. Thank you, Casey. We have Operation Santa Claus happening here again this year. Is it December 6th that they need the donations? Okay, so what that is it's a group that we are giving to. They give presents to children and families. So people here donate, bring in a gift for someone in need. Okay, in case people couldn't hear that, it's two different children we're sponsoring, and they have specific gifts on a list. So Casey will bring that next week, but the gifts are due in to Operation Santa by December 6th. Oh, great. In case you didn't hear Tom, Tom said he will put that on Facebook as well. Yes, we do offer Course of Miracles. It is listed on the meetup group. So anything I didn't talk about today is also listed on meetup. But we do have Course of Miracles on Thursday mornings, I believe, starting at 10? Is that starting at 10? It goes till about 11:30. Yep. In case I've missed anything else. Okay. So, namaste. Everyone want to say namaste together to each other. Namaste. 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 Thank you, everyone. Now Barbara will sing a song.
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, and some remain. All these places have their moments when lovers and friends still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. My life, I love them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you. And these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. In my life, I love you more.
Thank you very much, Barbara. So now it's time to introduce our speaker as we do weekly. This morning I was thinking with Thanksgiving coming up that we often talk about gratitude, and for some reason I was thinking that sometimes when we know people well, we take them for granted because they're consistent. They put their heart into things. Even things like our parents for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm not a person who cooks a lot, and so every time we have the Thanksgiving at my home, the Friendsgiving, I think, oh my goodness, if my mother was alive, to be able to tell her that I now know how much work some of the things she did, or just moms in general, how they do it, and dads too, how they do it. But the fact that sometimes we take people for granted, and it would be good for us to be thinking, of ways not to do that so much. And I think that is often the case, that people love and know Tom, and Tom gives to us all. I don't know that everybody knows how much Tom puts into this congregation. He is more than a full-time minister. He puts a lot into what he gives us each week. And just wanted to say kudos to you, Tom. We really appreciate you and love you. You're welcome. Let's have Tom come up.
Thanks. I love you too. We're going to change the set. No. I know. We take that for granted too. So I don't like starting a talk like this. But again, we had another shooting. Had one at a place that I go by a couple times a week. The state hospital in Concord. Guy went in with a gun, shot an officer, on-duty officer there. Luckily, a second on-duty officer was there and took him out before it got any worse. But the shooter was killed, and that first officer was killed. We really have to take serious at what goes wrong with people before they get to the point where they feel the need to pick up a gun and harm someone. So just take a second and pray for everyone affected by that, including that officer's family, the people he worked with, in honor of the years of service that he gave. And we affirm that his memory will not go in vain. His family will be bathed in love. And the officer who took the man out, we pray that he can handle all the emotions that come with this. It's never an easy thing to take a human life. And we hold them in our thoughts. And we do wish that our nation would come together to start solving the reasons that there was such anger and despair. You know, long before it gets to the gun, there's something going wrong that people get to the point where they got to pick up the gun. And we need to address that. So now we're good. Barbara, great choice of songs. The Beatles song just nails it. Perfect. Each year before we start the season, I like to do a service of remembrance because there are people who've come in our lives, who come and go. Some pass, some just move on, but they're not with us during the holiday season. And for many people, it's tough. It's, you know, those who sat at our table when we were young are not the same people who are sitting at our table now. People have moved away, they've started families of their own, and many people have passed. So we kind of want to honor that and set the season off on the right foot. Matthew 18:20 begins with, "For where there are two or three gathered together in my name, I am in the midst of them." It was this verse that inspired two men, William Bradford and William Brewster, to risk all to come to America so that they could gather and honor their religious beliefs without fear of being prosecuted. It is from that the Thanksgiving Day tradition began and our holiday season began. And Thanksgiving becomes the beginning of the holiday season. And for many, it's a joyous time. But as we get older, we realize that joy comes with a little sadness of those who have gone before us, or those who are not at our table. Their families or friends, sometimes it's the dynamic of the relationship, or those who passed away. And each passing is personal and individualized, and we each feel it different. One memory can bring joy, and another can bring sadness, and some can bring them both. And there's nothing, it's not the legacy. There's nothing that is not the legacy that should be left behind other than the legacy. A person who has passed wants to live a fulfilled life. They expect from you, they don't want you to hang on to that part that brings about sadness. I don't have to know the people in your lives that you've lost to know that this is true. You know, last week I spoke of God and energy, that I spoke of God being energy when I did my Genesis talk. And I said I'm going to make a point about it on death. When the universe was nothing, there was something. The only thing in the universe that was self-existent is physical principle and spirit, two characteristics of each other, of one. They are of God. Scientific principle and the connection that makes them do exactly what they do. In other words, spirit. And our physical self is a visible manifestation of that process, of that spirit, of those principles. And we do it by the sense of taste, feel, touch, hearing. And like all physical things, we have a cycle of birth and deconstruction. And it's that makes it hard on us, because we see and feel things from a physical sense. We're just the nature of the beast. When someone passes away or moves on, we no longer sense that physical being. And that's kind of what the human experience is. It's a physical extension based in the physical. As most people, don't know what happens after we pass. Except I do know one thing. I believe this as much as I believe in my next breath. the Spirit remains. I have faith, and I hope you guys agree with this. If Spirit and principle are self-existent and always remain, then why should that end just because the physical body ends? Does anyone not understand what I mean by that? So since we're physical expressions of God and Spirit, or source, then our spirit self must be self-existent and therefore timeless. I just cannot believe that my spirit ends when my body stops. I also believe that we process and understand, the way we do this, process and understand, is not in the brain, but in our aura around us. We use the brain to process much the way a computer processes the internet. Computer can stop working, doesn't mean the information isn't out there. All that is us is around us. And I know that to be true for me because I felt others when they passed away. I know what my mother was going to say or my brother would do. But when I had that moment where I was dying on the operating table, I felt each person who had gone before me. And so for me, this is the truth. The spirit remains so. I don't know what the next incarnation of us is like, but I know it's there for each one of us. I don't know what it is, but I believe in infinite possibilities, so it can be anything. Maybe you incarnate to a new life. Maybe you go back to this life. Maybe any variation that you can come up with, because that fits into infinite possibilities. But that spirit, again, remains. Maybe when we pass, we're going to get to the other side and go, why did I fight death so much? Well, this really is a better place. I wish I had come years ago. I'm not telling you guys to go do something drastic, but maybe that idea of they went to a better place really is a better place. Maybe it's our rock candy mountain. I don't know if you know that song, but it's an idea of paradise from a hobo's perspective. If everything in life were what they wanted, that song is Rock Candy Mountain. Those who had sat at our table when we were young have changed, and each year passes into the next. And some people drift away, new lives come in, and we evolve and we form our own traditions. Maybe one year with this side of the family, another year with that side of the family. And no matter what, many people will pass through. And some will have sat with for many years, others maybe just once. But people leave an impact on our lives. We don't know how that impact will affect us. Some may be loving, others maybe leave us bitter. Some we canonize the relationship after they're gone. The relationship might not have actually been that. But what I know happens during the grief process is that we begin to move and we begin to see the person in a different light. The relationship that we thought was gone transforms. We see things that remind us of them. We hear their voices in moments. We'll drive down the road and go, oh, Jimmy would like that. We'll get wisdoms that pop in our head. I still hear my brother with these odd jokes, and sometimes I say the joke, and I know it's not me saying it. It's him. That spirit is there. Our relationship begins again. It rises. And the shortest verse in the Bible is Jesus wept. That was when he found out his friend Lazarus died. I did a blessing of a race a few years ago, a 5K race, and it was the race is dedicated to those people who have gone before. It's called the Angel Walk. And this guy gave me the best compliment still that I've ever gotten after my talk. He came up about an hour later, and he was crying, and he thanked me. And he said, thank me for allowing me to cry. Ever since my wife passed away, I didn't think I was allowed to cry. Everyone wanted me to be the strong man. And when you reminded me that Jesus wept, and said, Jesus wept because it's right to weep, it's right to grieve, it's right to turn our attention to that. And I was so thankful that changed something in me. Because we have to weep. We have to go through those moments. We have to express our grief and our pain in those moments because it's part of the human experience to have those emotions. I think about how many times we tell people to get over the grief or move on or move on. And we have to let people do it. Nobody knows how they're going to handle their own grief. But we take this time of year to try and put their memory in perspective. And their memory comes with stories, loving things that they did with us. We've touched their lives and they've touched ours. You know, you get this feeling like, oh, I wish I had said more. I wish I had done more. Especially in suicide, you think, I wish I could have been there. You've done all you can. If you've loved this person, they've loved you. All has been said. They don't touch that spot in your heart without knowing there's some kind of communication going on. So take this time during the holiday season to think of the stories that you've done with these people. Think of the jokes, whatever it may be, and allow them to serve their purpose, to raise you up. They want you to have a good holiday season. They want you to have a great life. There's going to come a point, again, if we believe that the Spirit's there, that when we move on, we'll meet them again. And they're going to want to know all about all the great things. And they're going to go, so tell me what you did. And you're going to go, nothing. Tell them how you honored their memory and said, oh, I thought of you when I was on the roller coaster. I thought of you when I dumped the whole bottle of gravy on the floor. Allow these memories to bolster yourself. I think of the moments on Christmas Eve when we would go sledding down our hill in New Jersey. It always seemed like it snowed at Christmas Eve at our house in New Jersey. We never got much snow, but the road would get icy. And so we would sled down the hill, which intersected with a fairly busy road called Prospect Avenue. So the task was to bail before we died. And bailing meant ramming your sled into the tire of a parked car. But we were all kids, and that made sense, and we all made it. But I think of those memories, or I think of the big Christmas bulbs that we used to set out as decorations, and we would go warm our hands on the bulbs in the winter. You know, we'd be standing around the tree, and everyone thought we were going to the bathroom on the tree, but we're all just there holding our hands. These memories happen with relatives or friends that you've been with. The stories that my aunt used to tell me, going to my grandmother's house Christmas caroling. She'd give us hot chocolate and little bags of Wise potato chips. Wise potato chip plant was just around the corner from her house. So you can always go get Wise chips for almost nothing. But it was great. You know, even as a kid, you can go up to the factory, knock on the door, and people hand you the stuff that didn't make it out the door. Yeah, we're a big fat family. But all these unspoken words are there in the memories that we've built. People want you to honor your life by living it to the fullest. They don't want you to sit home and worry about them or grieve them. Even the people that maybe your relationship is different at the moment. Maybe for whatever reason, you can't reach out to them. Or maybe they've just moved away and you don't hear from them much. Do your best. Send a hi, a Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, and your job is done. If they don't respond, it's on them. You've done your job. And some may not. I know if I can send messages to some of my friends and family, I probably won't hear from them. Mostly for good reasons. They're busy doing their things, and we'll catch up during the year. But even in my family, we have those little battles and stuff, and we cycle in and out. And all you can do is live your life the best life you can, and life cycles back around. went a couple of years without hearing from my sister. On great night now. I'm going to ride that wave while it's going. And I'm so thankful for that. When she reached out to me, and she was nervous, and there's always nerves when you try and end a relationship or try and build a relationship that seems ended. So I wrote back my true feelings. I'm overjoyed that you reached out to me. And I meant that, and I mean that, and I hope it continues forever. But allow these things to happen in your life too. Losing someone during a holiday season or a Christmas season who's not at your table isn't always just because they passed. There are other reasons. They may still be out there, but you don't get that moment with them. So remember the moments you had. And then if you find you reflect upon it, there's something that you could have done, then make that change in your life. Some people need a track record. You may change and you may know it in an instant. They may need to see that track record over and over again. And they may never respond to it, or they may. But you've done your part. You've done your best to live to your best self, to live in each moment. And when you do that, you honor the best part of those relationships. Whether that person is past or not, or just out there adrift, you honor the best moments by being the best you that you can be. I think of the people that I've loved and the now moments that I don't get to have with them. And I miss them. But I get to have these now moments in the memory because I can tell a story and bring that person back. I can tell the story of my sister. Always, my younger sister, for whatever reason, always said Walmart's. She added an S, like she was going to them all. And, yep, okay, we're going to Walmart's. And, or when she was mad at you, she would yell, you CATPOW, or PI, not POW, CATPIG, you cat pig. My brother had another one that he would yell, and I'm not going to repeat it because it's pretty vulgar. But he yelled it to us one night on the phone. In case I started laughing because we're going, what is that? To this day, we still have no idea what he meant or what it was. He was just expressing anger at something, and for us, it's been the happiest moment, one of the happiest memories of our life with him. I'm sure it wasn't the point that he was trying to make. And he's been gone for 10 years. 40 years after my grandmother's passing, I can still feel her hand. I can picture my grandfather. My grandfather was a great guy. He was that old, stocky, like baseball player that you remember from the 1920s. Well, he stayed that way his whole life. And he walked around, he kind of shuffled. And later in his life, he just sat in a chair, and his exercise was moving his feet, and he didn't sit up much. He would watch Carol Burnett and the Waltons, but he loved Mary Tyler Moore. And one night we were watching a show that she was hosting, and she came out in a top that was, well, rather see-through. I never saw my grandfather move so much as he moved up and pulled his chair closer to the TV. I was like, okay. I think of my sister Jill. She always made a feast, and she took eating all day to a new level. She would get her Thanksgiving feast out by noon, and then make a second one by the end of the day. Again, we were a big family. Well-rounded. Yeah. But no one ever left her house feeling like they weren't loved and full. Matthew says 5:4, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. We're comforted in those stories, when we mourn using stories and memories of these people. Again, Lazarus, when he died, Jesus wept. But then he turned his attention toward Lazarus and raised him. And the symbolic meaning of that is that when someone passes away, you're going to feel the grief, you're going to feel that. But when you return your attention to them, when you can, you're going to raise that relationship to a different level. Again, you'll have these stories and they won't hurt so much. You'll get the stories out, the memories. You'll see the things, as I've said. And that's what you do. You raise the relationship to a spiritual level so it doesn't go away. I find comfort in the moments that I sat with Casey's father having breakfast. We did it a few days before he passed. He always had a different place for breakfast, like 5-6 days a week. And I'm lucky to be a part of that. I always think of the advice my aunt would give me. We'd email back and forth all the time. And you have these relationships in your family and with your friends, and they've grown over the years and they've withered over years. But the memories of the best times are still with you. And carry that with you. You know, I've talked a lot about my relationships, and I do that. I kind of go into my stories maybe a little too much. But I'd like you guys to take a moment now and hold a spot in your heart, in your minds, and think about the people who have gone before you or who might not be a part of your Thanksgiving and Christmas season this year. And think of what they mean to you. And I have a list of names that people have given me. I'm going to mention them. Being with Ernie's dad, Ernest Sr., Reverend Maria Sesterio, Olive and Bill, Forrest, Linda, Dorothy, Don, June, Denise B., Dick, Baby Jace, Pat Costello, Mengele, Victor Gerard, Douglas Charles Edson Sperry, Lynn's aunt Gloria Morissette, who was one of the actual Rosie the Riveter, my sister Jill, my brother John, my younger sister Donna, my mom Janet, my father John, my grandparents, Aunt Patty, Sherman, Richard, Arthur, Velma, Joan, Carolyn, Eddie, Harvey, Beatty, and Toy. And if you're watching at home, there's anyone you're thinking of, mention their name in the comments and we'll read them out.
Heidi, namaste. Brenda, namaste. I appreciate you too, Tom. Heidi, loves gratitude. Bonnie, namaste. Norma, namaste. Heidi, I'm grateful to you too, Kate. Make it possible every Sunday.
So as we begin this holiday season, don't let these immense feelings take away from the job of the memories and the hopes of the loved ones. They want you to have the best holiday season ever. They want you to smile. And it's your job to. And you smile, and you give that smile to someone else. Do it in the shopping line. Do it in the mall. Smile when you were getting something for the Operation Santa Claus. Smile when you pass someone. None of this has to be big, but it has to be consistent. You know, we look at that shooting that just happened. Those families are going to go through a tough season. Well, maybe if we can change a little bit by giving a smile to as many people as possible, we can start to diffuse the anger that goes on in the world. Let someone know, hey, I'm happy you're here. They may not respond, but you never know. It might hit the right person at the right time. It's a lot better than just driving through and getting angry at the line or all the people in the store in front of you. You know, we have an ability to change the world in each moment just by the way we act. And I believe this like I believe in anything. And I hope you guys believe that too. Thanks. Let's step away for our sort of meditation song.
One evening as the sun went down, the jungle fire was burning. Down the track came a hobo hiking. He said, boys, I'm not turning. We're headed for lands far away, besides the crystal fountains. So come with me and we'll go and see the big rock candy mountains. The big rock candy mountains is a land that's fair and bright, where the handouts grow on bushes and you sleep out every night. The boxcars all are empty, the sun shines every day. The birds and the bees and the cigarette trees, the lemonade springs where the bluebird sings. The big rock candy mountains, the big rock candy mountains. All the cops have wooden legs, the bulldogs all have rubber teeth, the hens lay soft-boiled eggs. The farmers' trees are full of fruit, the barns are full of hay. No, I'm bound to go where the snow won't go and the rain don't fall, winds don't blow in the big rock candy mountains. The big rock candy mountains, you never change your socks. Little streams of alcohol comes trickling down the rocks. The brakemen have to tip their hats, the railroad bulls are blind. There's a lake of stew, whiskey too, you can paddle all around in a big canoe. The big rock candy mountains, the big rock candy mountains. The jails are full of tin, you can walk right out again as soon as you are in. There ain't no short-handled shovels, no axes, saws, or picks. I'm bound to stay where you sleep all day, where they hung the jerk that invented work in the big rock candy mountains. I'll see you all this coming fall in the big rock candy mountains.
Barbara, thank you so much. I just wanted to do that because I just love that song. I just love it's a perfect picture of a paradise from a certain perspective of what a happy life would be. And again, thank you for learning that. And she just learned that, by the way. She didn't know it. So can we give her another? So we're not doing a meditation because the talk was kind of meditative. So we're going to jump to the tithes and offerings, if that's okay.
We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is abundance in our fellowship. This is the place we all belong. We place our trust in this great holiness. This is the moment, come along. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on the journey through the miracles inside.
We'll recite the prayers of tithes and offerings. Is it up? Okay. Divine love adds me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. We'll finish with the prayer protection, then our peace song. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and we are richly blessed. Amen. Guys, have a great Thanksgiving. We will see you next week. And Tracy, thank you for yesterday. Folks, if you don't come to a Friendsgiving, it is so much fun. It really is. We get just this time to sit and chat and joke like we don't often get to do. So, and thank you for hosting it and all the work.
Now we'll do our peace song. As we